Good afternoon, and thank you very much for agreeing to interview with us.
Thank you, Jay.
Yeah. So we noted that one of your short films and feature film is both being shown in the film festival.
Yeah.
Is that right? Kaminan and doble
Quinta.
Great. We have noted that you have also done a documentary before about New York.
Yeah.
So tell us like how hard or how easy it is to switch from a short film and a documentary
Well, there are different styles because actually, I mean, they're different, but the way that I approach to them is basically the same. That's what I was trying to say. The documentary that I did was very, how may I say this? It was a mockumentary.
Alright.
So because it was a mockumentary, the idea is that everything is fictional.
Right.
So in a way we have a script, and the way we shoot it is, the technique is the documentary technique, but what we were doing basically was doing a fiction film.
Right.
So the approach, even if we were doing the technique of the documentary, the approach that we did was almost like a fiction film.
Right.
So it's basically the same what we did. Yeah.
That's interesting. And tell us about your two projects in San Sebastian Film Festival. I haven't had the chance to see the doble quince, but I have a ticket, so I'll be watching it very soon.
So hope you like it. Doble quince or double plus 15 in Spanish. It starts from the short film Caminan. Caminan is like a small teaser of what later will had become the feature film Double Plus 15. This film basically talks about two different characters that one of them is like a teenager and the other one is like an adult woman of around 50 years old. And suddenly there's those two characters that are kind of lost in their routinary life. Suddenly they met in a sex chat.
Right.
They lie to each other because they say, well, I'm 30 something, I'm 20 something, and they met. And suddenly this very weird situation where two characters that they are like very, very far away in ages, one from the other, suddenly they start to discover slowly through the movie starts going on that they have a lot of things in common, more than what they thought, more than what the age is supposed to say that what they are supposed to be. Suddenly they start to see, well, maybe we have more things in common than we thought, because age is something, and it's something that is there, and everybody cares about that, but what about if we don't think about these things, and suddenly we discover that emotionally we are very attached to one to the other, and that's what basically the movie talks about how we can be very close to someone even if the age is completely different.
Right. It's more like a midlife crisis, you mean, like?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's what it talks about.
Right.
We have a almost 50 years old woman that she has already done everything that life is asking her for her to do, and a teenager that he has like the whole life in front of him to do something. But basically, what we discover is that both of them, even if they are 30 years one from the other, they have the same questions. They feel the same loneliness one from the other, because they don't really know what life is supposed to be about, because nobody knows what life is supposed to be about. When you're a teenager, you don't know, and when you're adult, when you have your kids, you have your husband, you get married, you have your job. But now what? What's next? And what's the next? And in that moment, the same questions that you used to have when you were a teenager, they come to you again. And that's why That's why I put those two characters together, because we have the same questionings in our brain once and another. It doesn't matter how old you are, because we are always asking the same questions to ourselves.
Great. The other question I have is, like, usually when you write a script, you visualize a character in a particular way, and then when you direct and when you put it in your mind, like how it should come on the stage, on the screen, you will see it in a different way. But then when the actors come and they interpret it, there is going to be a different version to it. So how do you brace yourself, or how do you prepare yourself when there is like a small conflicts? Of course there won't be like a complete disagreement, but there will be like small ideas comes from the actor, or you want something the actor to do better, how you handle such situations?
I mean, when you direct, what you have to do is you have to be open to others' opinions. I mean, that's what a director does. He always get close to people that they know much more than what he does. I mean, I'm a director, but I have a DP that knows much more about photography than I do. I get actors that know a lot of acting much more than I do. Everything.
Right.
So, in my opinion, a good director is that one that hears all the opinions, the good opinions of the people that is surrounding him, and he takes the best decisions of those. When you start writing a character, you have your own opinion about what the character is supposed to be, but suddenly there is an actor that comes and puts in the table a bunch of things that suddenly you even didn't imagine that could be there. And your work is to be able to see those things and to make the character grow, because that's what you are asking for. So the smartest thing is, okay, I have my idea, but let's see what this actor has to offer to me in order to make this idea bigger than what I did.
Right. And usually as a creative, we are our best critics. When we see the end project, we are never satisfied. So do you have any scene, or you don't have to say the scene, but did you see this and say like, oh, I could have done it better?
Well, the whole film. I mean, yes. I mean, I don't like to usually when there is a festival or something. I usually present the movie and I came at the end.
Right.
I never watch the film because I always see the defects. I always see what's wrong. It's like, oh my God, why did I did this? Why didn't I pay attention to this? Why? I mean, this why is always there because you as a creator, you always know that you can't have done it better. If you had more money, if you have more time, you have another brain, I don't know. I mean, you could have done it always better, and that is something that is always following you. I mean, it's like, it's a pain in the ass. I mean, but it's there, and you have to learn how to live with that, because I mean, when you are creating, you know that it's always going to look wrong to yourself. That's what it is. I don't know.
And the last largometraje you did, Las Escondidas, it was reached internationally, like 15 countries.
Yeah.
And slowly the Spanish television series like Casa del Papel, and then a lot of movies are being remade in Bollywood. Recently there was Invisible Guest was made in Bollywood as well. So do you think now is the time for the Spanish movies it's becoming like really international at the moment?
I think there's a very good moment for the Spanish industry right now, because I mean, one thing that we don't have to forget is that Spanish is the third language in the world. I mean, we have Chinese, English, and Spanish, I think, and that's a huge market of where you can export what you're doing. And now with the new TVs, with Netflix, HBO, those movies that are arriving worldwide, and suddenly with just one click, everyone can watch what you're doing. The market has changed so much that there are a bunch of opportunities for new creators to arrive or to reach a bigger audience than we were used to. Before, you have to make your movie and sell it to France, and then in France they will put it on the cinemas, and later sell it to England, and later sell it to... Now you can put a movie on those platforms, and suddenly it's worldwide released. So when you have a good quality of what you're doing, probably will arrive far away, and that's what I think is going on with the Spanish industry. There are a bunch of new products that are very good, and because of the new platforms, they are arriving worldwide very easily. Yeah.
Great. That brings to my next question, which is like the usual debate of like Netflix is killing cinemas, people are not going to go there, and cinema is going to be shut down, you know. Even in the Cinemaldia they made an article about it. So what's your personal opinion?
Well, I think they both have to learn to live together. I think a movie, as I understand the movie industry, the movies are done to be watched in cinemas. That's what I think. And at least as a director, that's what I try, because I understand the way I compose the film, the visual plan and all the stuff is done in my brain to be seen in a big screen with no lights, with no sound, just you with more audience watching something. But of course the times are changing, and the new generations, they are very used to watch movies on their cell phones, for example, or in other platforms. So I think that it has to be a living of those two. And I think both they can live together. I mean, I think the cinemas are worthy because of what they are offering to you, and a space to reflect and to be in silence watching somebody's point of view. And the others, that are more easy and more cheap way to watch, but at the same time are good way to watch, and they will arrive to much more bigger audiences, are also there. So I think there has to be a cooperation between both of them. I mean, I don't think that one has to step on the others. I hope that both they will live together.
Right. And it's a personal question, like, are you going to make any English content, English films in the future?
I hope. I mean,
yeah, you have a very good
I
language.
hope that I could. I mean, but that's something that usually there has to be a producer that wants to produce something in English, basically. But yeah, I mean, I feel very comfortable with the English spoken language, and I think that opens the market and the potential audience much more than what the Spanish market does. So hopefully, I mean, what we want as a director is what we do to be seen as the more audience that see what you do is the better, because actually that's what you want, people to see what you are trying to tell. So hopefully.
Great. And what would be your next project? Already something in pipeline, or?
I have something in pipeline, but it's like very brief still. So I'm still writing and finding order to my ideas.
Okay, great. Okay, some light-hearted question. This is my favorite part in the interview. If you can get one superpower, what would be that superpower?
Wow. I would like to fly a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, I would love to fly. I mean, since I was little, I don't know, I always see superheroes like flying, and it's like, wow, that would be so. But at the same time, I think that going from one place to another, that's making this, like I want to be in, I don't know, UK now, and be in London, and now I want to be in, that would be awesome. Not only flying, but going from one side to another.
Teleportation.
Yeah, that would be that would be awesome. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Great. The next question: if you have a time machine, will you change anything in your life? It's the first part. Second part: will you change anything, a particular incident in the history?
I will not change anything from my life. I mean, I do think that what you have done is what makes you who you are, and I'm very proud of my way. Even if I made mistakes that I know that I made, those mistakes they make me who I am, and I like who I am. So I will not change anything. I think I will change any part of the history. Well, interesting question. I don't know. I will answer the same thing. I mean, what we are is because what we were. So I think that what we are, even that we can change and be better, we are something that I mean, I think what we are is, no, I will not change anything.
Great.
Because I mean, there are much people who say, well, I will take the Second World War away. Well, yes, but the Second World War bring us to where we are now, and I don't know, the Chinese Revolution, I don't know, I mean, but I think there are a bunch of things that we can change from who we are, and I think that humanity can get better, but I have a lot of hope in humanity, and I think that our mistakes will make us better in the future. So if we take away our mistakes, we will not get better. So I think I will leave the way it is. Yeah.
Great answer. Thank you very much. That brings us to an end to the interview. Thank you.
Thank you to you.